Hello, everybody. What up, everyone? Got some fun things to talk about today. And it's kind of about karmic versus new reality. Really, that's the basis of it. But it's just further into understanding into the crazy world that we are in, right? So what's up? Welcome. So I'm gonna not do a very long introduction, right? But if you want to get to know me more and more, please check out all the videos on this channel. The things I talk about can be a little bit strange, a little different, but they're all relevant nonetheless, right? And so I wouldn't do it justice if I didn't share our stories, right? That's what we're here for. So what is up? People call me Juniper Blue Mystique, but that's not my birth name, right? Others call me Bree. And yeah, so we'll see who shows up. Again, the world we are living in is strange. I think we can all agree on that. I feel like that's a really good starting point. What a strange world we live in. Crazy times, strange times. Nothing seems the same. Nothing's quite familiar, yet it is at the same time. It's just weird, right? Things happen to us a lot lately. It seems like things just change no matter what we do. And sometimes we might feel like we're just going through lesson after lesson after lesson. And there's a reason for all of that. And my journey's been probably somewhat similar to many, but a little bit different also. And so, I do kind of what we are all nudged to do sometimes, which is tell that story. Good morning. Good morning. What's up? Hello. So that's what's up today. The really cool thing about my journey is it was recorded, right? So we can actually look back and look at that. And the karmic reality versus non-karmic reality. And how does it all relate together, right? I did the Akasha video for a reason, right? There's a recordation of everything we do in life and then in and of itself. And then you have the other side of like mediumship and those that can see spirit on the other side and know that there's always something more than what we are, right? Do we die? Where do we go? Does life go on? Yeah, it does. Our soul at the soul level never dies, right? It always changes. But when people are like, we don't die, there is a part of that to say that, yeah, we do a little bit, right? So who I am in this lifetime does pass on, right? Like Sekhmet returns. Is it Sekhmet as they knew her then, or a different version, right? So whoever you are in this lifetime completely, when you put all the pieces together that make you uniquely you in this lifetime, pieces of that does die. And I think that's relevant too, to understand what karma is. Why is this? What is the karmic timeline to the non-karmic timeline? Why does it matter? Why does the Bible talk about the rapture? If you put it all together, it's right here. This is the actual totality of what it is. And the crazy thing is it came through me, right? You can look back, like Lisa, you can look back when you've done some of the work with me, it changes things because you heal enough. And the more you heal, the more you can see, right? And the more you see, the more you heal, the more you heal, the more you rise. And that's kind of really what it's about too. But when you look back on my journey, the way it folded out, the way it played out, I didn't see it coming either. It was all a part of my own awakening. Sudden changes, right? Sudden shifts. What up, Amy? Amy's here. Whoop, whoop. Lisa's here. That's cool. The karmic reality versus the non-karmic reality. The way Earth was, the veil, everything that was there, you can't, things that were done outside of God at one point, right? Through a lot of us, through the world, through what happened, through the veil, through everything that was done. getting us to do things that were not of God, getting you to believe things that were not true, manipulations, control, lie, fear, all of those things, and so throughout lifetimes, we've all made decisions that took us away from unconditional love, pure love. And God is like a light, right? It's like a light that resides within all of us, within our heart space. And it's truly a vibration of pure love. God is nothing more, nothing less. There's no judgment there. You can't have things that are outside of love, of pure, unconditional love. And it's not just a word, it's a vibration. And it's one that you get to when you've healed enough, when you can see clearly, when you love yourself more. But there's been times in every lifetime that we've been coming here and playing out, because as a soul, we don't really die, right? We kind of keep repeating that journey. And that's where these contracts come in. And that's why we have people that we so called travel with, and we don't really die. We come in with certain traits, certain attributes in a goal to remember love, to learn again what love is, and to undo as we go any mistakes we may have had, right? Any oopsies, any whoops, I made a choice outside of love's. And that's what the ascension is, right? The return of Christ. Now, when I brought down the anointing of the blood of Christ, that one, you guys remember in there how I specifically said in there that it's a karmic shift. And I didn't put this all together until the end, right? Remember, I had that download of why not everybody is going to make it after I did the Nile and stuff. But looking back on the journey, I brought down the anointing of Christ, right? The blood of Christ, prior to undoing the unholy grail and all of that. And in there, I said it was a karmic shift. It's a shift in karmic play out, right? And that's when I was opening up all of the 13 gates. And then they talked about the gates for the first time in the Nile. So it came in pieces, right? And the anointing of the blood of Christ, they said it was a karmic shift, brought down all the blood, started cleansing it. Then later on, we undid the Holy Grail, united Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And then later on after that came the Nile, right? Ecuador, they mentioned Sekhmet and the what you call the Sphinx coming into play. And then right after that came the Nile. And we were like, what? And looking back, you can see it all. You can decipher it all. And even looking at the recordings now that are on my channel or in our folders, for those that did it with me. And in the Nile, they mentioned the 13 gates, not 12, and how I have the 12 gates and the 13 gates to abundance, right? Well, each gate, and when we took the animals also through, so when you put it all together, it's quite clear that it's a karmic play out, right? So anything we did where we went outside of love, we have to clear, because the gates are vibrational. And the vibration of love is quite high, and those things are just outside of that. And that's the karmic contracts. Those are our contracts. That's the karma that we have to clear. And in order to get into the new earth completely, all that has to be undone. And that's what Revelations talks about. So that's why it would come through the way that it came through, and in the pieces that it came through in. And why right after the Nile and all that came up, I'm like, mind blown. I was like, this is why not everybody will make it. But clearing karma requires pure soul growth. That just requires, that's saying that I'm ready to grow up. I'm ready to come back to God. I'm ready to let go of everything that was outside of that. I'm ready to see beyond that false veil, right? And that was Mount Shasta, and clearing all of that back to Fiji. That's where that false veil was. And you can look back on my journey and see all of this. And so we would come back time after time to Earth, which was one of the most difficult places to be when you think about what it was, to what I did, to what it's coming to be. It was like a prison, right? It was where you would go and you would forget, why the hell am I here? This place sucks sometimes, there's joys in it. But for the most part, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. And within the ascension, it's more of a challenge. You have to choose to truly grow and let go of all the resistance to that of unconditional love and the things that we truly are. And we are powerful. And it takes strength. It takes strength to hold on to wanting to grow up, pretty much. It really is. And to let go of all of that and rise to God, right? To rise completely. That's what it talks about. That's what the ascension is. My throat's going wonky, so I'm like, what did I forget to say? It's all karmic based. Everything you do becomes a karmic contract in lessons in love. And they each contract that you have is in relation to other people, right? And it's all recorded in the Akasha records. And this is why we travel and we pick in lifetimes the family that we pick, and we travel with the individuals that we travel with. And that's why I tell you, your family, all of that is your karmic timeline. That's your karmic play out. So pay attention to the lessons within your family. Pay attention to where you give your power away within your family and where you take other people's power from them. And those are the keys to your karmic play out, okay? All the patterning, the lessoned patterning in relationships are karmic. They repeat for a reason, and they're not always happy, right? They're quite challenging, they're quite difficult. It's not true love, they're karmic. And these are the things that in the anointing of the blood of Christ, they said it's a karmic shift. We can no longer be on a karmic planet anymore, and that's what I've talked about, right? So the old earth is the karmic blueprint. And when my DM and I united, we undid the karmic contract back to light as well. So as we rise in the ascension, we have to make sure that we are clearing that karma and paying attention to our karmic play out, our karmic timelines, learning the lessons and the soul growth. And that's the return of Christ. That's the ascension, and that's what it would talk about, right? That's why there's 12 gates to abundance, and then there's 13 gates to abundance. The 13th is representative of New Earth. Once you get into the New Earth, is the 13th gate access. Before that, it's only 12 gates. And it truly does play out. When I activated the pyramids and stuff, that was the 12 gates that I cleared. And then when I did the Nile, I opened that of heaven, which is 13. So there, that's why there's two sides to things. There's two realities in the existence right now, is because one is a karmic play out and one is less of a karmic play out, right? One is the new earth reality where there's no more karma. When I got through, what happened? Amy, Lisa, when you go through the gates into the new earth, what happens? It's different, and it's been the same at the same time. There's some components that are always the same when you go into the new earth, and then there's some components that are different each time. And then you realize that all of the work that I did and that I had them come through me with was the path home, because in the end, that's what happened to us. We all of a sudden went through the gates. And when you go through the gates, you have your karmic contract is measured. And that's what the Egyptians would do and talk about. Yeah, it's a rebirth, absolutely. But the absolute details of it is a rebirth. You have to let go of everything and be reborn. Either way you go. No matter what, it's the rebirth. But in the new earth, you literally let go of all it's even like, truly, it is a rebirth in real time, because you clear all of your karmic contracts. You don't do them by wiping them out, by bypassing. You do them by bringing them up, learning the lessons, and choosing outside of which you once chose before. So it's pure soul growth in each lesson and each contract. And then when you get through, if you chose love the whole time and you chose that soul growth and you learned the lessons and you got the new perspective, in the end, literally do a heart review. We've done a heart review on myself and those that went through with me. Jacinth's not here. She said she couldn't be here, but she went through with us too. Gigi had as well. But we all had different experiences, but there were key components that were the same, right? It was crazy. Yeah. So yeah, So yeah, you don't let them go. So the whole entire path, essentially what you're doing is you're healing all of these lessons. You're healing all of this way you give your power away, your karma stuff. And then when you get to the new earth, the gates, the way it works is you actually get like this heart review. And then all these this big, huge, long contract comes into the energy, and it's all your karma. And if it's all cleared, it all just goes like almost like disintegrates, right? And it's like literally measured. And if it's not cleared, you have to clear that before you're free to create in the new earth, right? It's true, and it's happened to a few of us. We went through the path as it was unfolding, and to get through at the gate, at the 13th gate, after the Nile passage, after that portal, which is a lesson. It's a lesson in the wrath, right? Everybody has a different lesson play out depending upon your karma. And then all of a sudden our like karma contracts come up and they'll start to go disintegrate. It'll go through to see if you cleared it all. And once it's all cleared, I clear your energy. Like you go through this rebirth process where everything is removed, everything is cleansed. We use the white flame and the violet flame, and you pass through like this cleansing thing. And then you get your key and you walk through like these gates. And then you get a blank contract and a golden pen. It's been golden, I think, every time. But there's different nuances in between depending upon who you are, what kind of healing and upgrades and things like that. It's been crazy. And that's the depiction of the passage into the new earth. That's what happens. Yeah. So it truly is all about karma. It's about cleansing your karma. It's about rising out of your karma. It's about learning all of the lessons within it. You cannot bypass, you cannot undo. And a lot of people were doing that because you used to be able to do that. You used to be able to say, well, I'll clear it next lifetime. I don't have to do it this one. I'll clear it next lifetime. But the difference is that in this one, we don't have another lifetime to do it in now. And that's why they call it the Great Reset. Because everything has to be cleared now. That's the ascension. That's the return of Christ. You have no choice but to go through those 13 gates. And whichever one your karma lands you at, you can't go further, right? If you choose not to learn that lesson. And that's why it's all free will based. You have the choice. Everybody has that choice. But some aren't ready for that pure soul growth, right? They just aren't ready for it. And so you either are reborn here, and this is what Spirit would say, right? Some will go, some will stay, and some will never know life this way. The ones that stay choose to clear all of their own soul growth. So everybody has different levels, different lessons, different things to clear. Everybody has to pass through all the gates. It's just some people will have less karma to clear and some than others. Some will have more lessons in this one, right? Where somebody else is like, phew, I'm already on the other side of that one. See you on the next one, you know? And that's kind of what we're all going through. Whether you want to or not, we don't have a choice. The earth is rising because that's what I did. I did it to the earth. When we did the anointing of the blood of Christ, we brought it to the earth, right? And not everybody's able to just receive that because it's measured by your heart space. So the more clear you are in the heart space, the more you rise to, the more you can receive. And it's a vibrational pull. There's a karmic reality and then the non-karmic reality anymore. The old earth to the new earth. And when you look at it that way, it makes it a little more digestible and it makes a lot of sense too. The Egyptians used to depict this on the pyramids. And I saw that. I saw this when I was activating the pyramids and opening up the Sphinx, which we would call the portal of time. That's what it was coming through as. And then when Horus rose, he rose out of the Sphinx, which the original naming of the Sphinx meant Horus rising. And it was not called the Sphinx, but the English translation meant Horus rising. And so it all makes sense now. The portal of time, the path home, clear your karma and rise to God. And that's what it's all about. And those are the ones that stay, the ones that can see, that clear the path to their heart space, that clear the karma, that choose soul growth. Um, and then the ones that choose the lessons, you just can't stay in an earth that's already been changed. And so, it's not like God is judging. It's, are you ready to rise to God because God has returned, right? And so, because there's no fear in God, God doesn't, He loves everybody. You just have to choose the lessons, choose to rise through them, choose soul growth. Um, and then when you're on the other side of those gates and you get that blank contract and that pen, it really does shift your reality. Like, all of a sudden, I couldn't do the things that I used to do. I was really good at the unsolved mystery stuff, because, I would channel things and then they were turning out to be quite true. And they were quite amazing and I loved it. But I can't create that in my reality anymore because that's not part of the new earth. It's not. So they showed me that and I was bummed about that. I was like, okay, I had to shift that reality. And so your reality should shift. It should shift out of like what you would call the matrix reality into a brand new one, where it has to be, you're in power, you're in control, you have this blank contract, you're creating your reality. There's no foundation you are trying to cleanse and purge anymore. There is now a squeaky clean one where all of your karma has been cleared. And so now you get to create from a blank slate, from a place of love and harmony. But it has to align with that vibration because that is the new earth. And that's truly what it is. It's all right there. And this didn't make sense to me until I finished my journey. So it's a lot to process. Amy says, getting to the point of being ready to go through the gates is not an easy process or path. It's not. And everybody has to either way, right? That's the crazy part. Many will think you're crazy because they don't understand it, as it is beyond the mind's comprehension. And yeah, it is. And that's why they're calling this a great awakening, is because eventually nobody has a choice but to see. And so as we're rising, more people are seeing out of their false reality. And in truth, when people truly ask their heart, they can hear and see more, right? It makes more sense. People know, if you put it together, people truly know the world is changing. People truly feel it in their gut. They know it in their reality. There's this sense of like the whole compound matrix of the ego static mind, right? I would call it that. It's like when you get the collective together, there's this macho-esque type personality that develops, where I think there's a lot of people who see more than what they're willing to lead on at this point because they don't want to look crazy to the collective mind. And so in truth, what I feel and what I'm digesting is that people truly can see more. They're noticing the world is changing. They're noticing things just don't make sense. They're noticing something doesn't feel right. It does feel like the end. Like there's this constant energy about that's like this end, right? Which can create unease and unrest. And people don't know where to go and what to listen to because there's all this crazy information and false information and people who've used the truth for their gain, and for nothing else than to hurt people, right? And so when you have a whole crock pot of that, what do you believe? And do you verbalize what you're going through in that state, right? Like, it's who is mentally apt and who is not. And I feel like we're all in that same pot. Right? Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, lots of people have said they're a prophet and all these kinds of things. And when I tell you, when I bring forth what I have done, it's not easy. It's not something like, oh my gosh, everybody has to see this. It's like, oh God. But it's something that I can't deny. It's something that the proof unfolded for me and all of those who actually watch them, and our lives change. And then we see it actually playing out within the reality. And so when you put it together and you actually pay attention and see the proof, how often do we have proof? Not often, right? Like there's never usually that solid proof. And when you have it and you put it in people's face, they're like, yeah, but eventually it's already rising in the energy too. And so I feel like, people are afraid of change. We're afraid of admitting that maybe we were all wrong. Then where does that leave us as a collective whole and a collective soul? And if everything happened all at once, we would all go mentally insane. I remember saying that in the beginning of my journey. I really, really, really do remember saying that in the beginning of my journey. So who's still here with me? So I want you guys to understand that as I was unfolding my path, which turned out to be the return of Christ, and I didn't know that. I didn't see that coming. It didn't make sense to me because it was part of my own awakening the whole way through. And when you look back now, you can put it together and see, yeah, this really is Revelations. All the portals were there. There's 13 gates you have to get through, and that's trials and tribulations of your karmic patterning. And it's truly about soul growth and releasing all karmic from the past, because no matter what, the world is changing. Because these things happen to us. It's not like we were out one day going, I want my whole life to change. Otherwise, like, I want all these crazy things to happen. No, I don't think so. I think we're all in the same boat of forced change. Yeah, Lisa says, I'm here. It's a matter of perspective and understanding, and that the whole world is changing regardless. It's, do we do the work to rise above? And that is the karmic path, the karmic timeline. That is what's happening and what is unfolding. And it is our responsibility to make the choices, because it has to come through free will. And the things they told you were lies, because they lose power when you take yours back. Okay, so I want you to consider that. Every human being that is connected to God, as we rise and we choose to take our power back, and we choose to see love and from the perspective of unconditional love, and to let go of everything that is outside of that, because that's really what it's about, there will be pull against that, because you're taking your power back from something you once gave it to. And without your power, they're nothing. And it's as simple as that. You can look at it as God and the devil, but that is not what Spirit calls it at all. There's nothing to do with that at all. It's the challenges within you that you choose, that let go of love or not, right? And it's a challenge. We forgot how to love ourselves. We forgot how to love each other unconditionally. We forgot that money is just a tool, and we are power. We are the ones who are power. We are the ones who are love and light, and create our reality from this space daily. We have a power to change in the universal flow. And so that's why there's this constant battle to take that. Because without that power, that's what they've been taking from the collective soul. And without it, from God and from the masculine and feminine. And without it, they have nothing. They already have to leave. So, why wouldn't they want to take that with them? You have to consider that. That's why in every aspect of it, they talk about that challenge. They talk about that challenge that tries to keep you down, the challenge that tries to make you not rise. And those are the ones that you want to lean into, that you want to grow the most from, that you want to rise into and learn the lessons and learn how to see God again and what God truly is, which is unconditional love. There is nothing outside of that God is. And God says, hey, can you choose to just grow, right? Like, it's time. There's so much power in you. You've got to grow. It's time to grow. It's time to use your strength, use your power, and not accept anything less, and not let anything take that from you. And we are so prone and conditioned to give that away, to not understand what power is, to not understand what love is. And that's what we're rising out of. That's why it's very difficult. Okay, so place truth within your heart, because no matter what, your heart knows the truth and knows what's real and what's not. And the mind is where the tricks come in, right? So you want to not be escaping your body. You want to be going deeper and deeper within. Okay. Karmic play out to new earth redo. Okay. Or you have to go somewhere else and do a redo. Right? Yeah, Amy says, I've had a lot of aha moments during the last 5 years doing this with you. Hell yeah, we have. Oh my gosh, yeah, we have. For shizzle, we have had tons of aha moments. We would do things and I would be like, why are we here? And everybody's like, I don't know. I don't get this either. And then things would just play out and like smack us all in the face. And we're like, oh, whoa, whoa, that's real. Or whoa, that really does align. Or holy crap, that did exist. Um, all of these crazy aha moments and things we can't deny. You know what I mean? Like the proof is there. It's things you can't deny. The only thing that tries to get you to deny it is your ego and shadow, because if you truly are open in the eyes, it's there. It's like, whoa. But since you guys came and hung out and stayed, sorry about my nose and my allergies. Would you like a free message? My sinuses are going insane. All right. So we have Lisa and Amy. Boom, boom, ba-doom. I have 3 decks here that I'm being drawn to, that I was drawn to before we even came on. Oh, I'm so excited about my new deck, you guys. Like, I'm just loving it. I'm loving the pictures, the images that are coming through. I freaking love that deck. I can't wait. I'm like halfway through or something. I'm at 25 now. But I'm literally illustrating them, channeling them, drawing them. It's so cool. I love this deck. All right. So Lisa's up first, and then Amy. Do a quick message. Okay, ready? Transitional phases are meant to be bumpy. That's what I'm hearing. So what they're saying is, in spiritual framework, there's not always a smooth transition. Very rarely are some of these transitions smooth. Like transitions through energetic shifts, through changes, through compromising is what they're coming through here with. Like compromising. I feel like there's an energy of I'll compromise. I will compromise this. And it's gonna like that is a lesson within itself, they're saying. So let's see here. Beware of compromising. Hang on. Truth buyout. Whoa. Yeah, oh. Release control. Release control is the first card that came out, so I'm laughing. Like, yep, they're like, beware of compromising. Release control. But then also know you are loved. Know you are loved. Again, there's a difference between the word loved and to the feeling. And so we can say it all the time, but unless we feel it, we don't know it, right? So it does require a feeling. In order to get that feeling, you have to release the control. It's like this barrier. There's like this barrier. I'll do it like my way. You have to release that control. And that's the compromising. So that's why they say beware of compromising. So like when a challenge is presented, doing it your way can be quite not beneficial at the time. So, but know your worth. Because I feel like this is more like a protective state. You know what I mean? It's like when we get to a place of pure soul growth, we will tend to sabotage. Remember that course? We will tend to stop ourselves because number one, we have a joy limit. We cap ourselves off, and it deals with our self-worth a lot of times and why we do that, and truly not feeling loved. Like, I mean, like if I tell you know you're loved, you're like, I know I'm loved. But there a feeling of that? You know what I mean? Like that's I feel like the message there. Let's see what else this is going. And so it's getting to a state where you feel that love, where you allow yourself to feel that love, but you have to release this control. But I feel like it's appearing as compromise. Compromising is still a form of control. And in soul growth, patterning, and lessening, it's a full surrendered thing. Full surrender, full ride with the flow, full go with the flow, full co-creation kind of a thing. To pure soul growth, because we have a power in that we're not used to. It feels like a weakness and a vulnerability, but it's not. But here we are. Size is an illusion. Size is an illusion. It's all in how it is perceived. So things will perceive to be the biggest mountain you've ever had to climb. And then once you say, I surrender to it, it's just this little molehill in the end, right? But, and then we have, this is the road less traveled. That's why at times it can and be and feel so alone. And that's why at times, like in a spiritual awakening, it's common across the board for people to all of a sudden like be secluded. We feel alone. We feel like we can't be around others. We feel like all of a sudden we don't relate to people. You'll find yourself coming into a situation and the energies goes boing, you know what I mean? And some shit ensues. And you're like, well, how the hell did that happen? The reason for that is because as your vibration shifts, and in spirituality really is an inward journey, right? That's that inward flow, the inward to the heart space, inward to the light glow, right? And that's how an awakening truly does start to occur, is on an inward level. So when our focus starts to go inward, the reality on the outward starts to shift as well, because your outer reality is reflective of your inner reality. That's the way the world works, right? So everything happens through you. Everything is a reflection of you. And so as you go inward and you start healing, and this is still a part of your message, but I feel like it's on a collective level as well. As you go inward, your reality outward starts to shift. The people around you vibration have to start to shift as well, because they're a reflection of our reality. So when we start seeing things in a new perspective, when our vibration starts to rise, we accept different things in our reality. We align with different things in our reality because that's vibrational. And so they will shift, and we will go through phases of feeling lonely, of feeling like all of a sudden people don't relate to us at all. What the hell's happening? I can't create my reality the way I used to be able to. And there's a transitional phase as well within that, where we don't have all the answers. We have to be in pure surrendered flow, and just ride those waves, because it's moving, it's shifting, things are changing and rearranging. And if we go against that and we try to think, well, I want it this way, I want it my way, we're stopping energy within that, and you're creating a lessened pattern. And we don't want that. We want to get out of the lessened patterning. And so it's better to surrender in the moments of crazy tide, right? And then when things are more calm, we create. So sometimes we have to surrender, transition. I want to say implement, right? Like we start to connect with the energies we're now becoming. We start to see clearly. We start to learn that we've changed, and we can see that, and we start implementing it, right? Like the implementation phase. Yes. So That, yeah, and it's like if we're trying to control and we want our reality to not change, you're already in a changing shift, and so we can't try to control that. We have to surrender. You have to surrender. You got to give it over. Because, consider we're not alone. This world is changing on a very vast level. And if you truly watch my videos, I took us into 7D, and I talk about this on a galactic and a universal level. And I did things on a galactic and a universal level. And so it's not just Earth. It's quite vast. It's quite rearranging, and we weren't here alone to begin with, right? We're always kind of co-creating in our reality using the universal energies to create the reality we all find ourselves in on a karmic buyout, right? In a karmic relational path. But that's the way it is, and they're shifting, and so we can't know everything, right? Wouldn't that be some shit if we were alone and we're just being forced through these energies? And we don't realize how not alone we are and how much help there is, and we forget to ask for that help. Hell, we don't even know who to ask half the time because we didn't really realize this in the first place at some level. So the more we go inward, the more we accept that we don't have all the answers, and we attune to the universe to help provide, and make sure that we're listening to the right energies, the right nudges from a heart-centered location, and we trust the ones that don't feel right. That's co-creating in the new earth. That's your reality. That's surrendering over. That's the soul growth lesson patterning. And so surrender. You got to surrender. You can't control the co-creative status. You can't we don't see it all, right? You don't know the totality of the lesson or why the energy is shifting or who really belongs in what energetic base. So best thing you can do is surrender the control aspect. Land where you're going to land, right? And then it still will constantly shift and flow. Learn to work from that inward place, not the outward resistance. The inward flow, not the outward resistance. The inward surrender, not the outward resistance. And comprehension. It's the inward flow. And I feel like that's part of the difference for you. All right, let's see what these cards have to say. And if Amy's still here, she can have her message as well. Nature. I like nature. Nature truly talks about this. To really connect with nature is a whole inward level as it is, right? It's on the external reality, but we connect with her more inward. Sorry about that. I'll drop in my cards. All right. Soar. Yeah. This is about soaring to new heights. It's about soul growth again, soaring to new heights, new lessons, rising above, and learning to ride the waves rather than control them, and fully surrender even when it's tough or you don't see why or understand why, because we have to remember God asks us to surrender and to trust in the path and the process, even when we can't see clearly, because there's always times when we can't see clearly, when we don't have all the answers, because we are here on a limited perspective and a part of soul growth, okay? So it's like, that's like a kind of like a video game, right? I have to use the tools to rise above and to soar, to find deeper connections of love and oneness and flow in the energy. Okay, so but know your worth. You have to know your worth, because things change for a reason, and can we accept them in soul growth, right? And then know you are loved and release that control. Okay, but it's a road less traveled. It's not going to feel familiar, and you will at times feel alone. Okay? Yeah. Amy's still here. All right, Amy. The numbers keep showing me otherwise. So are you ready? Let's do this. Thanks for spending your Sunday with me, y'all. I appreciate it. Then I got to go do our detox. So I was going to tell you too that I want to do the live detoxing, the finishing them live. You are so welcome. I want it. So you're in that transitional phase, Lisa. Just surrender deeper, okay, and stop compromising. Like I'm gonna come from and do it my way. But for the lives, for the detoxing completion, I want to do it Monday and Wednesday and possibly Thursday because I don't know if we're going to finish out until Thursday. So I don't know if you guys heard me. I will be sending out more notification of that. Today should be recorded. Tuesday should be recorded. And then the rest I'll do live. So I'm hoping to do a live tomorrow, Wednesday, and possibly Thursday. All right, Amy, you are up. I'm going to go to this deck. All right. This is quite interesting. So right when I'm getting into your energy, which makes sense to me because we haven't even got to this place yet in our detox. But I kept seeing like the veil going in and out, right? Like something's clear at one moment and then it's not clear the next. Something's clear one moment and then it's not clear the next. And so it's like the veil keeps like a curtain, just keeps going over. And I feel like it's related to your third eye not being opened. But also like something is intentionally blocking you from truth and not knowing the rest. And that's what I'm hearing here. So there's a couple layers. So your third eye is blocked, but we haven't got into that in the detox either. So that also makes sense because we're rising. We're really close to that. I think we're going into that a little today. So that should help. Yeah, because it's the throat part too and then into the third eye. So that'll help too. But your third eye, it's like I see something clearly and I get the right perspective. And then the veil, it's like this curtain closes and I can't see for a moment and it's just completely shaded. It's weird. And then it comes back eventually. So someone or something in the energy is trying to block you from truth. Pay attention to that. And then on the other side of that, you need more love into your third eye, more opening it on a regular basis. It likes to stay shut. But also something is trying to keep it shut, so be aware of that energy. They want you to not see truth. It's a manipulative energy. This is for Amy. Trust your heart over those, right? Trust your heart. Learn to trust your heart more is what I'm hearing. Trust the universe. Trust the universe. Also trust your heart, but our heart is with the universe too, right? What is that? That's a chakra right there, right? Trust your heart. Trust the universe. Trust you first. And let your fears dissolve. This is truly letting your fears dissolve. Oh, really? See? Okay. There's validations right there. But here we've got lighten up, so it's going to be okay. Like I feel like just bring light into the situation. Bring light into the situation. Trust your heart and the universe and let your fears dissolve in it, okay? But also cool your emotions, right? Don't be reactive, be responsive. Reactive will lead you nowhere good. So be responsive, cool your emotions, and it takes strength, right? There's power in those horns. Like I only use them when necessary. I wouldn't want to ram my head all the time. Only if I absolutely had to. And so if we just take a moment to cool those emotions, a lot of times we'll realize we don't have to. Bring light, this lighten up card, as I truly see you bringing the light into the emotions that you feel, like how I teach, right? Go into the feeling and bring the light into it and light it up, shine it into there. It's super important for you to do that. That's going to help you clear these energies. I feel like you have to clear these energies. But let your fears dissolve. Trust the universe and the flow. Keep cooling those emotions, bringing light into those emotions. What a beautiful message in the cards here. I like how that played out and came through. All right, we're not done. And then I also hear like betrayal is behind you, right? Don't bring it forward anymore. It happened. Let's deal with the emotions in the moment. And that's the way to move on. The only future we really have is now. The past is already gone. I love this when this happens. Why keep bringing it forward if you don't? You are stuck. Oh, I couldn't have made that up if I tried. Oh, that's funny. Potential accomplished and created. There's that word again, right? Does not exist, as we all have the same potential vortex. Don't live it unjust, right? Reasoning. I couldn't have made that up if I tried. So don't worry about what happened. Focus on the now. Don't worry about tomorrow. Focus on the now. Focus on your energy. Trust your heart space over anything. When the emotions arise, you must have the strength to sit with them and bring the light into them. And that way you'll heal them in the moment. In the moment, healing and releasing will be necessary. And let your fears dissolve as you do that. And also with the light there too. So wherever you feel these on the inside, bring light into them. Lighten it up, okay? Trusting the universe, trusting your heart nudges, trusting your gut. And know that potential schminchel, right? Like they same as you. They could have made the choices just as you could have. And we need to consider that sometimes. The only future we really have is now. The past is gone. So don't bring it forward. Stay right now. That's what's up. Okay? All right. Heck yeah. So I should be able to bring today's in the recording. That whole thing with my my landlord threw me off in time and schedule. But my whole house is super, super, super clean and pure and purged and organized. And we didn't just do that, we upgraded things too, so it looks all nice. And honestly, that's the best feeling. You're so welcome. That was awesome, actually. Very awesome. So, yay! I'm glad it did. I'm so glad it did. Those were good messages for sure. And from my deck, I can't wait till my other deck is done. I cannot wait, cannot wait, cannot wait. Cannot wait until it is done. No. So just, yeah, you got things to do, people to do, things to see, lessons to learn, growth to be had. I love it, right? But if we didn't, what would we be doing? What would we be doing otherwise? That's the question. All right, you guys. I seem far more relaxed. That's interesting. Well, I don't know about that. But okay. We will go with it. We will go with it. Yeah, I mean, I am relaxed now. Truly, it's all done. There's nothing to worry about anymore. So I don't know when she's gonna come. She didn't come, but yes, there's a weight lifted for sure. Everything is nice and clean and organized. It feels so good though when it's like that, right? It does. It feels so good. So during this detox, I have not done any of the outer environment stuff because I just hadn't had time. And I feel like that happened like that for that reason. Because she didn't come, you know what I mean? Like she made it rushed. She set the appointment date and time. And so I had very little time to get everything ready. And it was nerve-wracking. And then she's like, no, no, no. When I called her out on that, she's like, oh, no, 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 no. I want you to stay. We just have to do this. I'm like, okay. So I got it all done and calmed down, right? Like I didn't have to panic anymore. I was like, I was chill. We got so much work done. We worked our butts off. And then she didn't show. But in the midst of it, like everything was purged and cleansed. Everything from the clothes to the house, to the kids' clothes, to their dressers, to like everything, the shed, the yard. And I was like, it just felt so good. It felt so good. So I feel like no matter what, mission was accomplished for exactly what it was meant to do. But it did throw my schedule off a little bit, and I'm just trying to not overwhelm myself because I'm also doing the tutoring in the morning. So I'm doing the best I can. I'm going to try to get some things done today that need to be done for tomorrow, and so on and so forth. So that's why I'm not going back live for our detox right now. I'm like, shoot, I still got to do that too today. I'm going to do my best to get that done today. But regardless, we're going to go live Monday. So I might just wait for today, let things integrate a little bit more. How does that sound? And then go live Monday together. And so not do one today. It was meant to be that way. Like straight up feel like it was meant to be that way. God's like, no, let's put some urgency into her butt and make her detox her environment. We're doing a detox for God's sakes. Oh, yeah. Yes, thank you. Yes, complimenting. I know. We don't always take on like, no, I'm still stressed. Wait, no, I am calmer. Wait, no, you're right. Lisa says, I'm good either way. Oh, cool. Okay. It helped us to be able to heal more and integrate. It did, for sure. For sure. And honestly, I feel caught up with it now, because my environment was not, because they are reflective of each other, and we've been doing it in stages for that reason. And I was really trying. I knew, I was like thinking in my head, I need to do this, need to do that, and I'll just chunk it all together and do it over the weekend or something. And God was like, no, do it now. I was like, okay. Oh, wow. Nice. Sweet. So, Amy, are you good with that? If we just decide to do none today, and then we'll just meet up live tomorrow and resume. And because I feel like it's going to go to probably Thursday or Friday as it is, because we've got a few more areas to heal, and then we even have to do like a full body integration one. Let me know how you feel. I can work right away and go into the third eye in the throat, or we can just wait another day and do them live tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay, sweet. Since I have you two agreeing with me, I'm good with that. And I'll just let the others know that we're going to do it that way. So then I'll just go finish my other stuff today. That works. Yay. All right. Ooh. Well, thank you guys for coming. You know, it's kind of cool to look back on the journey and see what it was in totality, because we didn't know when we were rising through it the first go around. I didn't realize what I was doing all the way. I was processing. I did in pieces, and it's still looking back is processing it and realizing that the whole entire ascension wrapped up into a little red bow was just described today on this video, and what you have to do to get into the new earth and what it is about. And it really does simplify it all. And then you realize everything is through free will, the true free will, not their lied to version to you, and your power, and it's time to take our power back and change the game. So, you are so welcome. Of course. Thanks for coming to the live. For sure, for sure, for sure. I like giving messages too sometimes. That's so easy to give and so helpful. I used to love getting messages when I could, and I miss it. Lately, I'm like, I want to get a message. Where do I go to get a message? So it's very beneficial. I love using this knowledge and power, because that's what it's about, right? It's knowledge is power. So we should use it as that. Everything is power. Look at everything as power. All right, you guys. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. And we will just look forward to tomorrow live for the healing. You guys can post that in our group if you'd like to. That would be awesome, or I can too. I'll post it in there. So much love. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. 11:11. Woo woo. That means it's 1:11 here. Sweet. Started at 11:11 and ended at 1:11. I think I have that right. I don't know. All right. Well, hasta la vista, my friends. I will see you soon. I'll see you tomorrow live then, 4:45 on Zoom. Use the same link that you had from before. Okay? And we will resume. And then we will do Wednesday and Thursday and possibly Friday. All right. And then I'll be live Tuesday on Facebook if you want to come there too. Just do something. We'll do something. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Don't cause too much trouble, only a little bit.